My editor took it out. All right. And hello, everybody. We are live with Life Real Talk with Nina. That's me. And I'm very, very, very super excited for today's guest, Josh Wattier, who is a YouTube specialist and a fellow video marketer. So, welcome to the show, Josh. And I'm very excited to have a conversation with you today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk with you. I love talking about video, helping people learn about it. So, yeah, I'm really excited today.
Awesome, awesome. So, I always hate the whole read someone's bio and trip over half of the sentences. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself to our audience. What's your background and, what do you do?
Okay, so yeah, I am an owner of Momentum Virtual, which is a video marketing company.
Mhm.
So it's a family-owned company. It's me, my sister, and my mom. We all started this company together. And when we kind of started out, it was kind of a mishmash of just different things that we knew because I through some volunteering I did for a nonprofit organization, I had figured out how to do a little bit of video editing. My sister was really good at social media marketing, like Facebook and Instagram, that kind of stuff. And my mom was really good at project managing and making sure that everything got done together. And so we kind of just decided, okay, we're going to start a business together and figure out how this goes. And over the years, it's kind of evolved to where now what we really focus on is we focus on helping business owners increase their visibility and make sure they're getting in front of the right people
Mhm.
using video content. And we specifically focus on YouTube marketing and podcast marketing.
Okay, cool. And I just love the idea that, the three of you sort of threw all your hats in the ring and everybody did what they were best at and then just gave it a go. So, how long have you guys been in business for?
Officially, we've been in business for 2 years. We were kind of working off and on with a few contractor clients individually for about
Mhm.
a year before that. But
Okay,
yeah, officially the business was founded 2 years ago.
cool. So, what is your background beyond having worked with that nonprofit and having learned to dabble with video?
A lot of the experience that I've gained in the video marketing, it started out just being what we were doing for our company.
Mhm.
Because again, I started as a video editor, and then that was pretty much what I did for clients for a while. And then we were like, well, we should start a YouTube channel to start marketing our business. And so I started digging into that and looking into, okay, well, like, what do we need to do to make it successful?
Yep.
And then I just ended up realizing that's the thing that I am passionate about.
Mhm.
I can go and dive into courses and watch videos about YouTube marketing all day long. I love hearing updates on what YouTube is doing
Mhm.
and just the practical application of what can you do to make your channel grow faster, to reach people better. And so that's what I now focus on with our business. Is I am the one who comes in and helps our clients to grow their YouTube channels and make sure that they're reaching the right people with their content.
Cool. Awesome. And you know what I absolutely love? I mean, a couple of things here. Number one, video has become so approachable and easy that it doesn't take you going to film school or working on feature films for 3 years or anything like that to become really good at it, right? And what I'm also sort of, by virtue of that, it's really all about, and this is something I talk to my clients until they don't want to hear it anymore, is it's all about the strategy and the content and about the doing of it and not about the actual filmmaking, if you want to even call it that, right? I mean, sometimes I
Mhm.
feel like my filmmaker background in the beginning for sure was a bad, not a good thing because I knew too much. And I
Mhm.
remember if I look at my first courses I gave, I feel so bad for the people who took it because I was just clobbering them over the head with basically a PhD in video making, which was totally not what they came for, needed, or wanted, right? So, being able to then, on the other hand, bring it to where it is useful. And you know how they always say you should be a step or two ahead of your clients. You don't really have to be the master of it all, right? So,
Mhm.
but and I'm looking at your videos on YouTube and they're great. So obviously you guys have mastered it. quite nicely so. So we do LinkedIn, you do YouTube. Who is your audience, or where do you see the difference? If you know enough to make the comparison, what kind of people come to you to get their YouTube channel kicked into gear?
Well, we've noticed that there are a lot of businesses that like they get started, they get growing, and usually kind of the go-to options for marketing your business is to do things like Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, because it's not like it doesn't take a whole lot of startup to start on them. It's a little bit easier to produce content for them. But we do know that there are a lot of business owners that own really large businesses,
Mhm.
and they've never seriously considered marketing on YouTube, either because they just don't understand how to make that work. Like they don't understand the back end tech of it. They don't understand how to make videos perform well on YouTube, or because they feel like they just don't have the time to actually record all the videos,
Yeah.
edit all of them, get them all done. And so the types of people, those are the types of people we like to help. People who have an established business, are already making themselves visible, but they're just ready to get started with YouTube. And we come alongside to help them create a strategy for that back end tech so
Yeah.
they can understand it and they can know that their videos will perform well, and also help to show them some tips and tricks they can use to make it not take all of their time to run their YouTube channel.
Amen to that. Yeah, because that's with LinkedIn too. It's like, there's I always say there's like the content creation, because on LinkedIn and Facebook, the same thing, maybe less on Instagram. You don't only have the video, you also have the post aspect of it. So you also need to write content to get people, to incentivize people to actually watch your videos, right? It's not
Mhm.
just YouTube where you come with the expectation that that is what you're going to do. The business that you work with, if am I hearing that they're a little bigger? Like, do you have like sort of a range of revenue number that you normally work with?
It's usually most of our clients are within the 500,000 to maybe 2 million range.
Okay.
We do still work with some smaller clients, where we love helping people any way that we can. So anyone that needs help, we always like to provide it. But yeah, most of our clients are within that
Yeah.
range.
So you basically tack on right where I stop. That's actually interesting, because my clients are sort of 100,000 to 500. That's sort of my range very often. I mean, I have a couple of bigger
Mhm.
ones, but mostly I'm in the lower range. Um, so does that also mean that your investment for YouTube? I mean, what is it? What is a time investment? I mean, do you bring in? Is that something where you need like a dedicated person to do it? Is it something where they hire you out to do everything for you, but the actual standing there and talking? I mean, how does that look?
Well, there are a couple different ways to do it. We definitely help some clients with just giving them a clear strategy and showing
Yeah.
them how to do it easily without taking up all their time.
Hmm.
But we also do have services where we come in and actually do it all for you if you
Yeah.
don't have the time. So all that you would really have to do is record a video, and we'll help you with creating the topics for them, creating the script for them, helping to optimize the videos, do all the editing for you, so that all
Mhm.
that you really have to do is stand there and record.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's really, and that's also, again, where we come in, because it's like you need to learn how to record yourself and look good, right? That is
Mhm.
just, and that's today's, that is a must. Gone are the days where a crew comes to your office and shoots you, because it's just not necessary either, right? We all have really nice cameras on our smartphones.
Yeah.
Um, so what you and I have in common is that we both work within the platform that we work with organic growth, right? We don't do ads. So I was always under the impression, and this is what I tell my clients, and you probably would cringe at this. I always say YouTube is not a social media platform; it's actually a search engine, And if you want to stand out on, YouTube is, I always say it's its own animal. Go to someone else. I'm not YouTube savvy enough to help you, other than how show you how to create videos. But it kind of is, if you want to stand out on YouTube, you really have to have massive amounts of content. But I have a feeling that you might actually give me some other thoughts here.
Yeah. So YouTube, always say that YouTube is first and foremost a search engine,
Mhm.
but I do think that it is a little bit of both, because one of the things that makes YouTube so successful and that makes building an audience on YouTube not super hard to do is the fact that most of it's very easy to create a passionate community around people on YouTube. So when you're creating your content, we always tell people that you really need to show your personality in your videos.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who start creating videos for their business and they think, okay, I just need to be like professional business person that
Yeah.
knows everything and just sits here and talks about everything. But the problem is, if you do that, the only people you're going to attract are boring business people. So,
Who wants
but
that?
yeah. And another thing to consider is that any channel that you start, any content that you create, you can guarantee that there are thousands of other people who have created that. The thing that sets you apart is your personality.
Very good.
So if you
Yeah.
start creating videos that actually show your personality, using the language you actually use in a conversation, using your regular voice inflections, your regular movements, as you're delivering that information, you're going to start attracting people who resonate with you, people who like that and are like, oh, hey, I'm similar to that, or I like that person. And
Mhm.
there are a couple people that I watch on YouTube that I'm really not super interested in the topics that they cover, but I like that person. And so I watch their videos because I'm interested in seeing what they have to say on these topics.
Yep. Yep.
So when you let your personality come through like that, then not only are you setting yourself up as an expert by providing information and helping your ideal clients, but you're also attracting the people who really resonate with you and like you. And so that helps you to create a community of people who are not just interested in what you're talking about, but are interested in you specifically.
Which is awesome, because like if you are a service provider, then this is what you're selling, right? You're selling yourself. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's awesome. So what I'm also curious is, and this is sort of the LinkedIn drama, which is also the Facebook and the Instagram drama, is how often do I post? Always post on the same day. How many likes am I gonna get? This whole like sort of the time factor. So that's probably the question I have then is, what is the algorithm on YouTube? Like, is it as time specific, since it's not a social media platform necessarily? Is it as time specific and as much of the monster that constantly needs new food, or is it a little more relaxed in that way?
Well, the thing I always like to say is you can get success posting with any schedule, but it is definitely better to be consistent with when
Hmm.
you're posting. We always recommend posting at least once a week, but just kind of a
Yeah.
general rule with YouTube, the more you post, the more growth you're going to get.
Yep.
But yeah, we with our channel, we post one main video a week, and then we also post a couple YouTube shorts throughout the week to kind
Yep.
of keep the traction going. But yeah, one of the things that I do like about YouTube is that even if you stop posting, it will still keep recommending your content. But if you continue posting, it kind of like has a compounding effect of recommending your content.
Okay.
So, like a good example, this is something that happened pretty early on in our channel when we were still kind of trying to figure everything out. At this point, we had like 100 subscribers for our YouTube channel. Our videos were getting like 10 to 20 views on them. So, very early on. And so, we had posted multiple videos. They didn't get very good results, but we were kind of honing in our process. And then finally, we posted a video. It was our first one that just took off. And it was about how to generate money from a Facebook group. And so this video, we were getting like 10 to 20 views per video. This video got over 2,000 views within like a month. So it
Mhm.
was a humongous leap for us. And what we were realizing is as soon as that video started taking off, we noticed that all of a sudden our old videos were starting to get views again. And these videos that only had 10 or 20 views on them were now getting 50, 60 more views. And it's because we had this one video that took off, and YouTube's like, okay, people are interested in this. So
Yeah.
that means they're probably going to be interested in the rest of the videos you have on the channel. So then it goes back and starts recommending those. And I think that's one of the things that really sets YouTube apart from most other social media platforms, is the fact that, like, if you post a post on Facebook, like you post a video up there, within 2 days, you've gotten probably 90% of all the traffic you're going to get for it.
Ever again.
Within,
Yeah.
after a week, there's no chance anyone's going to see that unless they just go scrolling through your feed.
Unless they're
But
stalking you. Yeah.
yeah, but with YouTube, when you post a video, that video will stay on YouTube forever, and it will continue to gain views for you forever. So of course, the some of your older content is going to perform as well as your newer content, just because you're still learning and the older ones aren't quite as good as the newer ones.
Yeah.
But the more traction you gain on YouTube, the more followers you get and the more views you get on your newer content, the more YouTube will start recommending your older content, which will then start getting new followers from that content, which will watch your newer content, which will then make YouTube recommend your older content even more. And so it's just like a snowball effect. Once you get it started and you start getting traction, all of your content starts to work for you and continue to get you views forever.
Which is brilliant, right? So it might still be the time and the feeding rat race, but it's no longer the disappearing rat race. And I mean, and the other thing is, good or bad, what I always tell my clients is, don't be shy to recycle content, right? Which in YouTube you're not going to do because it just sits there. Yeah. So how important, so how do people find me? Is this an SEO thing? Is this, how does that work?
Well, there's two big main ways that that you can get your videos found. The first is SEO, and it's an important part of it, but I'll say it's not the most important part. So with SEO, just making sure that you're creating videos that are on topics people are searching for, making sure that you're using keywords that people are actually searching for. And there's a lot of tools that you can use. Like one I use is called Keywords Everywhere. It's a Google Chrome extension that when you have it enabled, if you type a search in YouTube, under all of the recommended searches YouTube gives you, it actually gives you search volume to show how many people are searching for that each month. So you can use that to try and gauge how, which keywords are good. And then just putting those in your videos will usually help you with the search side of it. But the much more powerful side of getting your videos found is with the recommendation algorithm. And this is something that it kind of learned by watching other people, because when I started out, because of course I have a very analytical mind, I'm very much a numbers person. So SEO is easy for me. It's like, I understand that. That's so easy. Do these steps and it makes it perform better. But then I started noticing there were certain channels that I find that had the worst SEO in the world. They had titles that were not anything someone would search for. Their descriptions were one sentence, had no keywords anywhere, and yet they were growing really fast. And that's why I started realizing the power of YouTube recommendations. So basically, YouTube's purpose is to make sure that everyone that comes onto the platform finds the right video at the right time, so that if they have a problem, their problem is solved as soon as they get to the platform. If they want entertainment, they find the right entertainment as soon as they get to the platform. And the better YouTube does at that, the more money YouTube makes. So their algorithm is trained to learn what people like and show that kind of video to those people. So if the kind of like vague overarching thing is, if you create videos that people love, YouTube will find the right people to show your videos to. So there's a lot more in depth around that about how to really like play the algorithm on that, but one of the biggest things that it tracks is your watch time. How much of your videos are people watching?
Yeah.
And specifically your average percentage viewed. So how much of, instead of just how long did people watch in general, but how much of your videos are people watching? So if
Yeah.
you get
They,
five,
when, yeah. So it's a question of whether they stop watching always after the intro because they get bored or something like that.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if you get people to watch 5 minutes of your video, that's really good if you have a 6 minute long video. If you have a 45-minute long video, that's really bad.
Yeah.
And YouTube tracks that. And so it's something that if you can get people to watch your videos longer,
Hmm.
YouTube will start to say, oh, well, they're enjoying their videos more. Therefore, YouTube will start to promote your videos to people that you would never be able to get from the search engine. But YouTube knows that these people will like your videos. And once it sees that other people like it, it'll start recommending it to them to try and make sure that everyone gets the content they want.
Fascinating. So many questions. So question number one. Um, so the YouTube algorithm is not just numbers, it's also AI, I would imagine then, because it needs to learn what people like, right? That goes beyond the numbers.
Yeah, yeah, it has a lot of AI in it, and
Mhm.
YouTube tracks so much information about us that it feeds into it. Like,
Yeah.
well, one of the things that's always interested me is it knows what you like to watch at different times of the day. So it knows that, well, in the evening times you usually watch this type of content, whereas in the mornings you watch this type of content.
Wow.
Or it also knows if you're watching on a computer, these are the types of videos you like to watch. If you're watching on a phone, they're different. It's these types of videos you like to watch.
Holy crap.
So
Hey, yeah,
it
yeah.
so it has thousands and thousands of different details of information that it's gathering for you every time you come to the platform. So it uses all of that to figure out specifically what it thinks you will like. And it is incredibly good at that. Like
Yeah.
there are things, it always amazes me when I just go to YouTube and I'm just scrolling for something to watch, and a video will come up that I've never watched anything on this topic before. I didn't even know this thing was a thing that existed, but
Mhm.
YouTube knew I would be interested in it. And as soon as I watched it, I'm like, yeah, this is something that I'm interested in now, and I'm going to start watching more.
And in
So,
the
and
background, the algorithm goes like, "Cha, we hooked him on another video."
yeah, so in a way, YouTube actually knows us a lot better than we do, because
Yeah.
it gets to see all of that information and it notices patterns that we don't even realize,
Yeah.
and uses those patterns to make sure it's always giving us the best experience that it can.
Which is also being used, not to go there, for, political reasons as well, right? So,
Hmm.
they were talking about how you are in a, I don't know, did you ever see that documentary? Or actually, it wasn't even a documentary. I think it was a fictionalized documentary called The Social Dilemma.
I haven't seen that one, no.
Must see, because it talks exactly about that. And then the consequence at the end of the film is that I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there is an action that the hero of this mockumentary takes, that is political because of the algorithm.
Mm,
So yeah, because you're being fed more of what you already believe, and you're at the exclusion of everything else. And that's sort of the criticism of or
mm,
the premise of this documentary. And
yeah.
it's really entertaining to watch, so highly
Hmm.
recommended. So let's say I'm a video marketer, and I want to, I have 80 lousy followers. I mean, I love my 80 followers on YouTube, but I want to grow my YouTube channel. So, first of all, I don't know who the 80 people are who are following me, which I already have a problem with, because how am I going to engage with them if I don't know who they are, right? Or
Hmm.
how am I going to create more content for them if I don't know who they are and what they potentially could be interested in me? Um, that's question number one. Question number two is, if I have, and again, I'm coming from LinkedIn, with what I'm used to there. The way we grow our LinkedIn profiles is by engaging with the people who like and engage with our stuff, And again, I know who that person is, so I can send them, a message saying, "Hey, thanks so much for liking my post about XYZ. Would do you want to be connected?" So I
Mhm.
can start a conversation. Now, how does that work on YouTube?
Well, with YouTube, first off, YouTube does have a whole ton of analytics. So, yeah, it doesn't usually let you see the specific person, like give you the name of the person that's subscribed to your channel.
Mhm.
But the more people that you have following you, you're able to start seeing demographics about like where they're living in the world, what age are they male or female. There's tons of, one of the things I love about YouTube is there's about 10,000 analytics you can find. So
Okay.
anything you want to know about your video or your audience, you can usually find in your analytics tab.
Okay.
But usually when we are recommending marketing advice for our audience, when it comes to like making sure that your stuff is being tailored to your audience, usually like I focus very little on looking at the demographics, because my focus is I already know who I want to be following me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to market to the people that I want to be following me. And then you can look at the demographics to see if that's lining up. And if you notice, hey, we're actually getting a lot of people that are older than the target market that we're looking for, then you can start to say, okay, well, what can I do to change my wording to make sure I'm attracting the right people?
Yeah.
So my advice for your first question is, yeah, instead of looking at, okay, who do I have following me? Let's make sure that I'm marketing to them. Look at who do I want to be following me? And are the people that are following me in that area? If so, then we're good. We can keep marketing. If not, what can I change to make sure that we are being aligned with that?
Yeah.
And for the second question, when it comes to getting yourself out there and promoting yourself, well, what I always like to say is that I have kind of a rule that I just call the 1/4 rule, because I'm not very good at names.
Mhm.
But basically, when you're creating content for your YouTube channel, 3/4 of your content needs to be 100% focused on helping your audience, gaining nothing in return. The only call to action is subscribe to the channel, maybe
Yeah.
like this video, comment, subscribe.
Mhm.
But that's all that it is. The whole video is, let me give you some information, let me help you, and
Yeah.
then just subscribe to the channel. And then the fourth video is actually leading them to wherever you're wanting to go. So if you have a freebie that you want them to sign up for, if you want them to go to your website, get on a call with you, that fourth video should be on a topic that's related to that. And then the call to action is, hey, come do this, come get on a call with me,
Yeah.
come to my website, that kind of stuff. And the reason why is because most of the people that come to YouTube, they're not coming with the expectation of buying something or
Right.
like
They're looking
signing up
for
for something.
solutions to their problems,
Yeah,
right?
they're
Yeah.
coming, they come to YouTube for a specific reason, whether that reason is entertainment, they have a problem they need to get solved, they
Yeah.
need to learn more information about this, whatever it is, they come to YouTube for a reason. And so if it's just like if you're scrolling through Facebook and you see all of these Facebook ads, most of the time you just skip by them because that's not why you came to Facebook.
Yeah.
The same happens if every one of your videos is just ending with a, hey, buy my stuff, hey, come look at me.
No.
People just aren't interested in that.
Yeah.
But if you start by building a connection with them, first off, it proves to them that you are an expert because the information you're giving them is helpful. And they're like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about.
Mhm.
But secondly, they know you a little better and they start to trust you as you just keep giving them more value without asking for anything in return.
Mhm.
Then they're going to start trusting you a little bit more. They're going to start liking you more, so that when you do finally bring that offer in that fourth video, they're more willing to accept it because they've already warmed up to you and they feel like they can trust you enough that they would actually be willing to look into your offer.
Yep. Yep. And not dissimilar on LinkedIn, but maybe a little less so. Yeah. Interesting. So Ifat just came in with a question, and it's actually a question I had for you as well. Do you use YouTube Buddy?
Yes, I do use TubeBuddy.
Yeah.
There are just so many things that make YouTube easier. Like you can definitely run a successful YouTube channel without getting TubeBuddy, but it just has so many features, even when it comes to posting videos, looking at your analytics, creating
Mhm.
like tags for your videos. It has so many just features that make life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely recommend if you're wanting to go fully into YouTube and start marketing there a lot, it's
Mhm.
definitely something to look into.
Yeah, I've have it installed, and again, I'm just not. I mean, this whole talk makes me like want to have 5 hours more a week, so I can just focus on YouTube as well. Um, and that's one of the things I want to do next year is make sure that those 80 followers are not no longer 80, right?
Hmm.
Um, so and a little more. So since we're on the topic, are there any other plugins or um, ancillary support platforms that you use to support your YouTube habit, so to speak?
Hmm. Yeah, there are a lot of ones that you can get. I use two specifically. So I
Mm.
use TubeBuddy for a lot of the helpful features it has. And
Mhm.
then I also use the one I mentioned earlier, Keywords Everywhere,
Yep,
which is a paid thing, but it's extremely cheap because you basically pay for a certain amount of searches. But
yep.
I think it's like $10 to get 10,000 search results.
Oh dear.
So
Yep,
so it's one of those things where it's like pay $10, you can probably use it for the entire rest of the year.
yep,
But yeah, that one is very helpful for helping to figure
yep,
out what are good keywords to help optimize your videos. So those are the two that I
yep.
mainly use.
So, I mean, this is all amazing information. Thank you so much. So then the question is, what are the biggest mistakes that people do when they start or when they're trying to up their YouTube channel?
That's a really good question. One of them that I see a lot of people do is not really having a strong call to action. There are some people who get onto YouTube and they feel uh, some people feel like a little bit guilty when they're asking people to like, oh yeah, go to this video next or go subscribe to my channel, and they're
Mhm.
worried that people like are going to think negatively of them for doing that or leave their video because of that. And the truth is that's just not true. Basically every video on YouTube has a call to action. So
Yeah.
every person that comes to YouTube is expecting a call to action. So
Yes.
that means that like when you give the call to action, one of two things is going to happen. Either the person's going to be like, no, that's not for me, and move on. And that's fine.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, why would you do that? No, they're just, okay, I'm not ready for that yet. And
Right.
they'll
Yeah.
move on. But the other option is that they'll actually follow through on your call to action. And it has been scientifically proven that if you give a call to action, people are more likely to do that. Like if you tell people, hey, subscribe to my channel, sometimes there are people that that want to be subscribed to your channel, like they love your content and watch your content all the time, but they just don't realize, oh, I haven't subscribed yet. So saying, hey, subscribe to my channel, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, I'll go do that.
Yeah.
Or if you have like a freebie that you want to give or something like that, again, if people aren't interested in it, they'll
And
just
just
leave
move
it,
on. Yeah.
move on to the next video. But it will let people know, hey, there's this thing that I have that if you're interested, it could help you.
Yep.
So I would say that definitely that is one of them.
Yep.
Another one that I would say is, and it's something I talked about a little bit earlier, is just not being real, being very fake on
Mhm.
camera.
Mhm.
And that's something that I see a lot of people do. And it's so easy to see through. People can tell when someone's being fake, and no one
Oh, yeah.
likes someone that's
Mile
fake.
against the wind. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely try and make sure that you are showing off your real personality.
Mhm.
And I'd say probably the last one is not really caring about how their videos look. And
Mhm.
this is something that there's always a balance here, because we tell people, look, you can get started with anything. You can start with just your phone. You don't need a fancy microphone. You don't need fancy cameras or lighting or anything
Yeah.
like that. But at the same time, there is an expected level of quality on the channel. So when I'm saying quality, I'm not really talking about your video needs to be this resolution, your audio quality needs to be
Yeah.
this good. I'm just meaning there are some basic things about your background and your environment that people expect. They expect to be able to see you clearly with your lighting. You can't record in a really dark room. They expect for there to not be whole bunches of distracting things or a whole bunch of mess in your background. So basically, just if there's anything that would be a distraction to your viewer, you want to remove it. So if you're, that's why when I'm in my recording studio and we are recording, we pretty much just have a blank background. We have a wall, and then part of it has like a curtain hanging down, and sometimes we'll have a picture hanging on the background. So there's some things to give it a little bit of contrast. It's not just blank, but it's also not distracting. There are some people that they just have so much in their background that I just get distracted with their background, lose the point that they're trying to say, and now I'm not interested and I leave. And the same with things like lighting and sound quality, things like that. Just if you're watching it and you're realizing, yeah, that's kind of distracting, that I feel like that would draw someone's attention away, then you probably should try and deal with that. Because attention span, one thing with YouTube is the attention span of people is very short. It's usually about 5 seconds when they click on a video. So you have 5 seconds to grab their attention. After that, they may have like 10 or 15 seconds. And if you don't continue to do something that's interesting them within that amount of time, then they're going to leave. One other thing that last point made me think of, and this is another big mistake I see people make a lot, is not doing a whole lot of editing for their videos. So it is okay to have videos that aren't really edited, and that can work, but it will work a lot more effectively if you do some editing to your videos. So even if you need to hire a video editor, it's not that expensive to get a video editor to do it. But it's just because, like I said, a lot of people think about we have 5 seconds to grab their attention at the start of the video. And so they put in a strong hook. They do something at the beginning, which grabs their attention. But then the rest of the video is just, hey, I'm here, I'm talking, or look at this point over here, we're doing this kind of thing. And it's just a plain video. And unless your content is extremely like attention grabbing and is so good that everyone's just waiting on the edge of their seat to hear the next word that you're going to say, then eventually people are going to lose interest just because nothing's happening on the video other than you being there.
And I think that is actually a big difference between YouTube and LinkedIn, right? Because that begs the question, how long is a good length for a YouTube video?
Well, that depends both on your audience and your type of content. So there are some channels that make 1-minute videos that are incredibly successful. There are some channels that make 5-hour videos and are incredibly successful. It depends on what specifically your audience is looking for. So with the types of videos we do, we usually solve very specific problems or give very specific answers to what someone's looking for. So our videos are usually within the 3 to 5 minute range, just enough that if someone is searching for something, they can get a quick answer to what they're needing. However, another great type of content that works on YouTube is podcasts. You can create a video version of your podcast and put it up there. The only thing is, usually the people who are watching the 5-minute videos are not the people who are watching the 45-minute podcast videos. So you have to keep that in mind. If you have built a channel where your entire audience of that channel is interested in the shorter content, then you may want to consider creating a new channel for your podcast, and that will start attracting the people that like the longer form of content. So what I always try and suggest is that whenever you're creating your content, when you're trying to figure out how long your videos should be, is just start creating content at whatever length you want to start out with, and then see how long people are watching. And you can always look to see, first off, check if there's something, because in YouTube, you can actually see a graph and see, at this exact time, 10% of the people left. So what happened at this point of the video? Is there something I could have done differently in the editing that would change that? Is there something I said that could change that? And if you feel like all of that's pretty good and you're noticing people still aren't staying very long, then you can say, okay, let me try shortening a little bit and see
Yeah.
if I can get people to stay all the way through if it's 1 minute shorter than what I've been doing right now. And
Interesting.
then just keep testing like that and experimenting, and eventually you'll find the place that works well for you. So we've realized with ours, when we started, we had some videos that were up to like 10, 12 minutes solving these problems. And we realized that the majority of our audience wants a quick answer to something. They don't want to spend 15 minutes watching a
Yeah.
full in-depth tutorial on everything you can need to know about this.
Yeah. They
So
want
that's
like
why
one.
we shortened
Yeah.
ours.
Yeah, and I think that's a big difference then between like other social media platforms or social media platforms when YouTube is, and also to your point of editing, because we don't edit, right? We teach our people how to shoot really quick videos that they trim at the beginning, at the head and the tail, and put some, a logo on it and a title, and that's it. But those videos are also between a minute and a minute and a half. So
Mhm.
you can keep your audience captive with just a talking head, because most likely you're giving them one quick tidbit. And yeah, so, and I've heard that 3 to 5 minutes is sort of the golden length for YouTube. um how does, so, tip series, teaching something, all that, I think that goes really well with YouTube. What about stuff like that's more like thought leadership, or more sort of in-depth, talking about, or talking through, yeah, I mean, like more intellectual stuff, less hands-on. Does that stuff
Mhm.
kind of perform well on YouTube as well, or is it more sort of the practical, do this, do that? I mean, if I have a problem that I need to solve, like, fix my steamer, which I did not too long ago, I went on YouTube and I put in the model name and I said, hey, how to fix steamer, right? And then I got
Mhm.
a step-by-step tutorial, how to fix the steamer. And I'm very proud to say that although I'm in a non-steam shirt today, I fixed my steamer, and that was like, for me, that is YouTube, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so it definitely, just like I was talking about with the podcast earlier,
Yeah,
it definitely does work. It's just has a slightly different audience, or sometimes it's the same audience just at different times.
at
So
different
like
times.
there are some times where I'm trying, like, if all of a sudden my car is broken down and I'm trying to figure out what's happening about it, usually I want a quick answer. Give me something quick that I can
Mhm.
do with my car to make my car start working.
Yeah,
But then there are other times where it's like, hey, YouTube is doing this new thing with shorts. Let me let me do some research into shorts. And in that case, I may want to watch a 15-minute full in depth dive into everything you need to know about this thing.
yeah,
And so it kind of depends on what you're looking for at that time. But yeah, it does still work very well. And that's one of the things that is interesting about YouTube, is that since there are so many people on YouTube, there are people that are interested in just about anything. So just about any topic that you could want to cover, and just about any length that you want to cover it, just about
hmm,
any way that you want to cover it, there are people on YouTube that are going to be interested in that. So
yeah,
you just have to figure out the specifics of how do you make your videos in a way that will keep their attention and get them interested in it throughout the whole thing.
yeah. So that goes back to who's your audience and how do you get them engaged.
Mhm.
So I just had a question that I thought was really important, and now, oh yeah, so for instance, again, I mean, I'm using my YouTube channel as a library. So everything, the kitchen sink goes on there. So do I hear you say that if you have different kinds of content, it would be prudent, or one should have more than one channel? Or can the algorithm distinguish within your channel, let's say, different playlists?
Mhm. Yeah, so it's kind of it all depends on the audience that is looking to watch that content.
Mhm.
So if you're creating two different types of content, but the same audience is willing to watch both of those types of content,
Mhm.
then yeah, it's fine to have them on the same channel. The reason why earlier I had brought up that sometimes you may want to have your podcast on a different channel
Yeah.
is like if you have a whole bunch of people that all that they're looking for is quick answers to problems, then they're coming to expecting a 3 to 5 minute video. And then if you post a 45-minute video, they're going to see it, expect, like, come into it expecting it to be really short, then realize, oh, wait, this is really long. I don't have time to listen to this right now. And then they're going to leave. And in YouTube's eyes, that meant they came to the video, didn't like it, and left. Therefore, YouTube starts to say, well, some of your videos aren't performing well. People don't like some of your videos, and that negatively affects your videos that were performing well because YouTube is now saying, well, people aren't liking this type of video. So that's why I say it really comes down to the type of
Mhm.
audience that you have and what types of content they're interested in doing. So, like, for instance, with us, again, we have the 3 to 5 minute quick answer videos. We also post YouTube shorts on our channels, which are kind of the same, but much shorter. They're like 15 to 20 seconds. Here's one quick tip, one tiny point about this topic. And we'll do like 6 different shorts to fully cover this topic, but each one is just one quick point.
Yeah.
And the same audience is willing to watch the 3 to 5 minute video and the 15-second video.
Yeah.
So we have them on the same channel. But if we were to start creating 30 to 40-minute videos that we feel like they wouldn't be interested in, then we might consider, okay, let's create a new channel and start posting that content.
Right, right. So like this here, which is my only long format that I do, goes onto my YouTube channel, but it's all in a playlist and it's clearly marked as like this is a long format show. This is
Mm-hmm.
not, and I'm a big fan of playlists anyway, because I read somewhere once, and maybe you can help me verify or debunk this, is that YouTube loves playlists and they basically give you credit for having your videos all, sorted and cleaned up. I don't know whether that is really true or not, but that's what.
Yeah, it is a decent amount because it
Mhm.
helps YouTube to see what types of videos should be played together. Again, it
Mhm.
gives more information to the algorithm,
Yeah.
but it also just makes it usually makes your videos perform a little bit better if people will watch them in a playlist, because you usually, like, if you're creating really good videos, then they should be kind of drawing people in the whole time, kind of what we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
And usually, like, the human brain doesn't like to just cut off something in the middle of it happening.
Yeah.
So if someone is in the flow of your video and they're continuing to watch your video, then most of the time they'll keep watching most of the way through unless something happens that breaks that
Yeah.
flow. But if they get all the way to the end of the video and they're in that flow, no matter what, the flow has been broken because the video stopped. Now they have to consciously make a decision. Okay, where do I want to go next?
Yeah.
The cool thing about the playlist is that they're in the video, like, they're in the flow all the way to the end of the video. And then at the end of the video, the flow doesn't stop because it goes straight into the next video. And
Brilliant.
so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that allows them to go straight into the hook of the next video. And if your hook catches them, now they're into the next video and
Yeah.
keep watching.
Yeah.
So if you can get people to start watching your videos in the playlist,
Mhm.
it will, most of the time, it ends up with people watching either more of your videos or watching your videos for longer because it takes away that abrupt stop at the end of your videos.
And I think it also mitigates the big problem. And that's like just yesterday, a potential client had a call. I watched her video on her website. She hosted it from YouTube, which I always tell people is like the biggest no-no, has to go on Vimeo, because you can control the interface. And when the video was done, here comes like, 9 other videos,
Mm-hmm.
3 of which were political, and it's like, I don't want that on my website. So, is so if you have a video in a playlist, then the chances are very big that if you're embedding it somewhere, and the next video from that playlist will pop up, right? Or is that,
Yeah.
yeah. Is there a way, I thought there used to be a way to control when you embed what is happening after the video, like to just stop the video playing and not show anything else? Is there a setting for that?
Um, there is, it's not, it's definitely a lot easier with Vimeo because, like you said,
Yep.
Vimeo gives you all the options. With YouTube, you can change a whole bunch of things about it,
Mhm.
but you have to do it straight from the embed code. So you copy the embed code, you can paste that somewhere, and then there's certain things you can remove from the code to take things out, and there's certain things you can add to the code. Like if you want it to autoplay when someone goes to the website instead
Yeah.
of them having to click on it, you can do that. You just have to get the part of the code that autoplays and add that into the embed code at the right spot.
Oy vey, that
And
just sounds like a big mess ready
yeah.
to happen.
So
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
most of the videos that we have embedded in websites, we do have in Vimeo just
Yep.
because Vimeo does make that whole process easier.
Yep.
But yeah, when it comes to creating content for people to like that we want to get pushed out for a whole bunch of people
Mhm.
to watch,
Mhm.
we usually put it on YouTube and then just share it.
Yeah. I mean, what I actually do, which again, I have a VA doing this for me, otherwise I wouldn't do this. Pretty much anything that I could see showing to a client at some point, I put into playlists anyway, but then I also have a VA upload it to Vimeo and put it into a playlist there because I love giving clients a clean, nice, a link that goes to a nice distraction-free playlist on Vimeo because they already are a captive audience, right? They don't need to come
Hmm.
and search me. But of course, it takes views away from YouTube. So there's always sort of that, back and forth. But because I create a lot of videos in bulk, meaning I do series because it's just, time saving. And
Uh-huh.
I love expanding on a topic. And if you're doing that on social media, you want to make it, 1.1 video, right? Because I feel like on the beauty of YouTube is you actually have a luxury of going a little deeper and a little longer with 3 to 5 minute content. On LinkedIn, you're sort of stuck in that 60 to 90 second loop. I mean, sometimes I do 2.5 minutes, but rarely. And
Hmm.
so that's why I serialize things a lot, and then it just looks very nice to have it in a playlist on Vimeo to showcase it to clients who are already a captive audience. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
We are already at time. Time flew. I have more questions, but I'm going to hold them. Is there anything that you want to, share? Any like point that you want to make, or something that you think is really important that I didn't ask you?
Yeah, well, I think that when people think about marketing on YouTube, there's one kind of caveat that I always want to give people,
Mm,
and that's that setting up a successful YouTube channel takes time.
yeah.
Most of the time, when you are trying to grow a YouTube channel, it may be 6 or 8 months of you creating videos before you start to actually see any return on the investment. And
Mhm,
that's something that can turn a lot of people away from YouTube.
yeah.
But I will say that once you get through that and you start to get the snowball effect,
Mhm.
it is well worth all of the time that you put in setting up. But you just need to come to it with the expectation that this is a long term investment. This isn't something that I'm going to see results for right now. Because if
Yeah.
you come in expecting immediate results, you're going to get disappointed and quit by the 2 month mark when nothing has
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
But if you come to it knowing that this is a long term investment, I'm going to keep working on this, and eventually it's going to get to the point where it pays for itself,
Yeah.
then that will kind of carry you through all of those times where you're like, well, my videos are still only getting 10 views, they're only getting 20 views, I should just give up. Just
Yeah.
know that no, keep working, keep trying to improve your content however you can, keep
Mhm.
trying to connect with your audience however you can. And if you're doing that, if you're creating videos that people love, then it will start to snowball and you will start to get that traction.
Perfect. I love that advice. Yeah, LinkedIn is a little faster return on investment, but it also takes a moment to ramp up for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Josh, this was phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time, for your expertise, for your patience, and for a really wonderful conversation. I learned a lot. And I normally tell my editor, pull 3 to 5 clips. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 clips. Yes, I'll have to narrow it down a bit. But thank you so much, Josh, for being with us today. Very much appreciated. And where do people find you? And is there a link I can put into the comments for you
Mhm.
once we get off this?
Yeah, so you can always find me on LinkedIn, send me a message. I'd be happy to talk about marketing stuff. We did create kind of compile some of our resources to give out to anyone who's interested in starting with video marketing or getting into that. So we compiled our video kickstart guide, which gives you a lot of checklists and information to help you start video marketing right, as well
Mhm.
as a couple training videos and stuff. So if anyone's interested in that, they can just go to videomarketingkickstart.com. That's videomarketingkickstart.com, and you can sign up for that. And it's just like I said, it's some really good resources that give you
Yep.
some very practical information on how to create really high quality videos and optimize them, as well as some training videos to kind of show you how to make sure your videos are performing well.
Awesome. And I just did download it before we went on, and I can't wait to see what you put in there because I'm super curious, of course. All
Awesome.
right, Josh, thank you so much. And to everybody else, we'll be back in a month from now with another fabulous guest. And until then, be well and have a happy Thanksgiving for those of you who are in America and actually celebrating Thanksgiving. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.